जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन। यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन। यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन। यामतीरवनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे। जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे। जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय। जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा। जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद। जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय गुरुदेव। शिल प्रभुपाद की, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे। Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, dear devotees, for kindly being present here today. I am very thankful to each and every one of you for kindly being here. Thank you to Madhupati Prabhu for kindly organizing this wonderful program on a Saturday evening. And thank you to Akhilesh Krishna Prabhu and family for kindly hosting me. And thank you all of you dear devotees for kindly being present here today. Today I will be speaking on a particular pastime, a Leela of Shri Krishna, which is described in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the killing of one particular asur named Vatsasura. In Srimad Bhagavatam there is Vritrasur, and then there is also in the 10th canto Vatsasura. So Vatsasura is a different asur as compared to Vritrasur. So I'll try to speak something about Vatsasura. It is a very important lesson or teaching for all of us, including myself. But before I speak something, it is Shishta Parampara, it is tradition established by the previous Acharyas that we should begin with Mangalacharan. So following in that tradition, I will perform Mangalacharan. Most of us know these verses, you can kindly sing along with me. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupah Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namah He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Jai Gaur Premanande. So thank you once again, dear devotees, for kindly being present here. I am very thankful to each and every one of you for kindly being here. Yes. Shri Radha Shyam Sundar Bhagwan ki, Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Sudarshan Jiv ki. It is said, Panchabhihi sah sthatavyam gantavyam panchabhihi sah. Panchabhihi sah vaktavyam na dukkham panchabhihi sah. Panchabhihi sah sthatavyam. If you want to stay at one place, stay with at least 5 people, so that if there is any conflict with one person, there are 4 other people to speak to. Gantavyam panchabhihi sah. If you are traveling somewhere, travel with at least 5 people. So if you fall into some difficulty, there will be 5 people to protect you. and Panchabhihi Saha Vaktavyam. If you want to give a talk, there should be at least how many people? Oh my goodness, today so many more are there. Na dukkham Panchabhihi Saha. There is no unhappiness if at least 5 are present. Today more than 30 are present. My happiness is multiplied 6 times. Dear devotees, thank you for kindly being present. It is said in a particular purport to Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Prabhupada that liberation from material contamination is called anartha nivritti, and this is the test of development in devotional service. If one actually develops the devotional attitude, then he must be freed from the material contamination of illicit sex, intoxication, gambling and meat eating. These are the preliminary symptoms. When one is freed from all material contamination, his firm faith in devotional service awakens. So dear devotees, there are many enemies on the path of bhakti, and there are 4 regulative principles to follow. And these 4 regulative principles, almost all of us know. What are the 4 regulative principles, dear devotees? Please tell me. No meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, and no illicit relationship, dear devotees. Amongst these 4, the 4th one, which is lust, is perhaps one of the most difficult enemies to overcome. And lust in Sanskrit is called as Kam. So Kam, although Kam, the original meaning of Kam is creative desire. It is specified in the Vedas that the first Kam appeared in the heart of Bhagavan. In the Vedas it is said, Saha akamayat ekoham bahusyam prajayeyam. Saha akamayat, he desired. Ekoham, alone I am. Bahusyam, let me become many. So then he manifested the material creation. So originally Kama means a desire to create. But Kam also specifically means lust. And therefore, dear devotees, this Kama is Pradhan Malla. Pradhan Malla means if you want to fight a wrestling match and there are 100 people willing to fight against you, the best strategy is to fight the strongest wrestler first. If you manage to defeat the strongest wrestler, then the others will not even try their luck. So this is called Pradhan Malla Nyaya. Even in Krishna's pastimes, when Krishna went in front of Kamsa, Krishna and Balram challenged the most powerful wrestlers of Kamsa. What were their names? Anybody knows? Chanur and Mushtik. And once Chanur and Mushtik were killed, other wrestlers ran away. There is no fighting the other wrestlers. This is called Pradhan Malla Nyaya, the logic of the topmost wrestler. Similarly, amongst the tendency for eating meat, tendency for intoxication, tendency for gambling and tendency for lust, which one of them is the Pradhan Malla, dear devotees, the main wrestler? Kam is Pradhan Malla. And it is so difficult to overcome, and it causes the greatest amount of difficulty for the progressing sadhaka, progressing devotee. In fact, in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, Bhagavan will say something to Shri Uddhav. I will sing the verse, please hear and repeat after me. I will sing slowly, please repeat after me. Na tathasya bhavet klesho, bhavet klesho, bandhas chanya prasangatah, yoshit sangad yatha pumso, yatha tat sangi sangatah. This is such an important instruction for all human beings. Especially this instruction is for the men, dear devotees. The ladies may think, Vaishnavis may think, what about us? So there is a separate instruction for ladies also, but first let's hear the instruction for men. Bhagavan says not only in the 3rd canto but also in the 11th canto, Na tatha asya bhavet klesho bandhascha. There is no higher suffering in life for the man. The highest suffering that a man will experience in life, Yoshit Sangad, is because of association with the opposite gender. This will bring the highest suffering in life for the man. And yatha tat sangi sangataha. And if one directly does not associate with a lady, a man does not associate, then even associating with an existing person who is associated or attached to the opposite gender will bring lot of distress. Sometimes, dear devotees, there are some people who may not be directly attached to the opposite gender, but they may start hearing some romantic songs, and then after hearing some romantic songs you will see they are crying, and then you may ask, Arey, what happened? You are not even, you have not even experienced what is love. Why are you crying? Oh well, this song is so nice, it made me cry. So direct association is not the only thing which can put somebody into suffering. Even association with a person who is directly associated can also cause the same effect. I will read the translation. Of all kinds of suffering and bondage arising from various attachments, none is greater for the man than the suffering and bondage arising from attachment to women or from intimate contact with those who are attached to women. Dear devotees, Kam is going to cause the greatest amount of trouble for men this side of the assembly. Now, similar instruction is also given for ladies, because Srimad Bhagavatam will treat everybody equally. So Srimad Bhagavatam also speaks to the ladies. And Kapila Muni says in the 3rd canto, I will sing, please repeat after me. Tam atmano vijaniya patya patya grihatmakam daivopasaditam mrityum mrigayor gayanam yatha. Kapil Muni says, Tam atmano vijaniyat pati apatya griha atmakam. A lady should understand that pati, what is pati, dear devotees? Husband. Apatya are children. Griha is house. Daivopasaditam mrityum. All of these are nothing but a trap laid by Daiva, a trap laid by Providence for the death of the lady. Mrigayor gayanam yatha. Just as the sweet singing of the hunter is the death for the deer. I will read the translation. This is Srimad Bhagavatam 3rd canto, 31st chapter, verse 42, 3:31-42. A woman, therefore, should consider her husband, her house, and her children to be the arrangement of the external energy of the Lord for her death, just as the sweet singing of the hunter is death for the deer. Dear devotees, please tell me, in kama, in lust, does one person suffer or both people suffer? Please tell me, one or both? Both. Both suffer, dear devotees. Sometimes one suffers more than the other. And sometimes some individuals say, I will avoid the entire problem altogether. I will not get married. Dear devotees, I will not get married. So by not getting married, I will solve the problems. But dear devotees, Kama is not going to leave anyone. If a person decides not to get married, still Shastra says something about such people. Shri Vyasadeva says in Shatapatha Brahmana, please repeat after me. Yavajjayam न विन्दते असर्वो हि तावद् भवति यावत् जायां न विन्दते असर्वो हि तावद् भवति. Shri Vyasadev says, as long as a person doesn't attain a spouse, till that time asarvo, they feel incomplete within their heart. So even if somebody decides, I will not get married, they will always keep feeling that sense of void and emptiness within the heart. That emptiness, incompleteness within the heart will not go away. And that loneliness gradually will give them equal amount of trouble that kama, lust, would have given them. So even if a person decides not to get married, it is not going to help them escape kama. There is a very famous author in Sanskrit literature, Bhartrihari. Bhartrihari was in the brahmacharya ashram, and in brahmacharya ashram he described his suffering that he underwent in the brahmacharya ashram out of kam, out of lust. And there is a verse by him, and this verse I will sing, please repeat after me. Smrita bhavati tapaya drishta unmadakarini sprishta bhavati mohaya sanam katham. Smrita bhavati tapaya. He is in the brahmacharya ashram. Sometimes his guru sends him to town for bringing something. So when he walks in town, one day Bhartrihari saw a very beautiful girl, and he came back to his guru's ashram. He says, Smrita bhavati tapaya. If I think about her, my heart burns. Drishta cha unmadakarini. And if I happen to see her someday, when my guru sends me to the market, I lose my mind for that entire day. I am not able to think of anything else. And sprishta bhavati mohaya. Sometimes in the market when I am walking and she is also walking, and sometimes accidentally if our hands brush and if I happen to accidentally touch her, oh, my entire day is lost. Sanam daita katham. I don't know why ladies are addressed as daita. Sometimes we call, hello dear. Why are they called dear? They should not be called dear, because every contact with them is troubling to me. Devotees, in this way Bhartrihari describes his experience in the brahmacharya ashram. It was very difficult for him in the brahmacharya ashram, because kama does not spare anybody. And here is the translation, please hear. Remembering her makes me burn. Looking at her makes my mind swoon. And touching her leads to big delusion. She troubles me in all my senses. Why then is she named Daita, dear one? And dear devotees, then there are some who fall in love, manage to fall in love, but that love doesn't continue for long. That love breaks. And when that happens, that leads to immense suffering in life. There is a very famous incident in the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam between Maharaj Pururava and Urvashi. Pururava was a very good looking king on earth, and one fine day Narad Muni, he went to Swarga, the heavenly planets, and he glorified Pururava like anything. Hearing this glorification of Pururava, the heavenly damsel Urvashi became attracted to the description. She decided to come to earth and see how Pururava is. And she came to earth and she met Pururava. Of course, for Pururava, he was, getting the association of a lady from the heavenly planets. He could not have asked for anything better. So Pururava and Urvashi fell in love with each other, It is described in the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. But the Devatas knew Urvashi is a girl from the heavenly planets, Pururava is a man from earth. This relationship has no future. Therefore, the Devatas quickly called back Urvashi. And when Urvashi went back, Pururava was heartbroken, immensely heartbroken. Pururava tried his best to convince her, but she did not stay. Finally, Pururava gave up his kingdom and started roaming everywhere on earth, trying to find her. Maybe someday I will be able to see her. Maybe someday I will be able to meet her. In this way, Pururava roamed like a beggar on various parts of earth. After a few years, one fine day, Pururava saw on the banks of a river there were a few ladies, and he could recognize one of those ladies was Urvashi. And as soon as Pururava saw Urvashi, Pururava loudly shouted out. Dear devotees, this is the suffering of those who fall in love, but then their love doesn't attain success. It is very troublesome, dear devotees, very troublesome. And Pururava says to her, this is from the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Please repeat after me. Aho jaye tishtha tishtha ghore na tyaktumarhasi mam tvam adyapya nirvritya vachamsi krinavavahai aho jaye, oh dear one, tishta, don't leave, because he was thinking that as soon as Urvashi will see me, she will go. Aho jaye, dear one, tishta, he shouted out, wait, Ghore, you are very cruel. Na tyaktumarhasi, don't give up today. Mam tvam adyapi anirvritya, today you should give me happiness. What happiness do you want? Vachamsi krinavavahai, I just want to talk to you for some time. That's it. Dear devotees, can you try to imagine what Pururava might have wanted to ask Urvashi after so many years? Can somebody try to guess? Stay? She cannot stay. Come, at least come once a year. Huh? To take him, he cannot go. He doesn't have the merit right now to enter heavenly planets. Dear devotees, he only wanted to ask her one question. I hope you are doing okay. I hope you are doing okay. So this is Pururava. After speaking to Urvashi, she went back to Swarga. And dear devotees, Pururava was tremendously heartbroken. He thought he will create a fire, and in that fire he wanted to offer some sacrifice by which he can go to Swarga and stay with Urvashi. So he took 2 pieces of wood and started rubbing both these pieces so that he could produce a fire in which he could offer himself so that he can go to Swarga. When Pururava was rubbing the sticks, at that time exactly Satya Yuga changed to Treta Yuga. It was at that time Satya Yuga changed to Treta Yuga. The Bhagavatam describes. And this was the first fire sacrifice in Treta Yuga. It was Pururava who performed a fire sacrifice for attaining Swarga, for attaining Urvashi. And then, dear devotees, you can see how karma troubles everyone, and especially also if somebody falls in love, it is their first time, and after falling in love, that love becomes successful. People think nothing as good as that. And then some time passes, and then something happens. So this Bhartrihari, who used to love that girl he saw in the marketplace, after some time he happened to get married to her. And then after 20 years, Bhartrihari wrote another verse. So today I would like to speak that verse from Bhartrihari. Please repeat after me. Yuyam vayam vayam yuyam Ityasin matiravayoho Ityasin matiravayoho Kim jatam adhuna mitra Yuyam yuyam vayam vayam. Dear devotees, I'll try to explain this verse by explaining some of the Sanskrit terms. First term, please repeat after me. Yuyam. Yuyam means you. What does yuyam mean? You. And please repeat. Vayam. Vayam means I. Alright. So Bhartrihari says, Yuyam vayam vayam yuyam. You were I, and I was you. Iti asin matiravayo. This was my thought process. Kim jatam adhuna mitra. Suddenly what happened, my dear love? Yuyam yuyam vayam vayam. So, last line I don't need to explain. Huh? What happened after 20 years? You became you, I became I. So dear devotees, no matter what ashram we are in, whether we are married, not married, brahmachari, grihastha, vanprastha, sannyasi, anashrami. You know what is anashrami? Without any ashram, thinking I will escape all responsibilities and live a happy life. Kam is going to trouble everybody equally. Equally. Nobody will be spared. As far as Kama is concerned, all are on the same platform, dear devotees. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam 9th canto, it is said sometimes Kama becomes so dangerous that it results in the greatest tragedy that can happen in a relationship. Please repeat after me. Grantyal parthepi vishrabdham Grantyal parthepi vishrabdham Patim bhrataram apyuta Gnanti alparthepi vishrabdham Patim bhrataram. For a small reason, sometimes people end up killing their spouse. That is the extreme end of Kama, extreme result of Kama. And we may not see in the society of devotees, because devotees are saintly people. But in the society outside, we will see n number of examples of people who are killed by their spouse. And this is the most troublesome part of Kama. And therefore, dear devotees, if somebody tries to overcome Kama, please raise your hands. How many of us would like to know today how to overcome Kama? Please raise your hand. Wonderful. Huh? It's very important. I would also like to know. Huh? But sometimes people, what they do, they try to put their own strength in something and they try to overcome Kama. For example, there may be a person who may want to let's say today I decide I want to overcome Kama. And how do I overcome Kama? Well, there are some techniques. I should eat only once a day. alright, and I should sleep on the floor. Because all the senses are in one line. If you control your eating, you can control your calm. And you sleep on the floor so that you have an austere life. And dear devotees, whenever we try any such techniques to control Kama, Kamadev is laughing on us, because Kamadev has declared something in the Mahabharata. In the Mahabharata, there is the most important Gita. Which Gita is the most important Gita in Mahabharata, dear devotees? Bhagavad Gita. But there are many other Gitas in Mahabharata. One of them is Kama Gita, where Kamadev himself is speaking. And dear devotees, before we try to overcome conquer calm, we should know the nature of the enemy. Sometimes we try to defeat the enemy without even knowing who the enemy, how the enemy is. First, let us understand how Kama works. And in the Kama Gita, Kamadev himself says something. I will sing, please repeat after me. Naham shakyo nupayena hantum bhutena kenachit yo mam prayatate hantum gyatva praharane balam tasya tasmin praharane punah pradurbhavamyaham. Kamadev says, na aham shakyo anupayena hantum. I cannot be killed by any means whatsoever. You try anything, I will not be killed. Bhutena kenachit. Nobody can kill me or defeat me. Yomam prayatate hantum. If anybody tries to defeat me. Gyatva praharane balam. By putting their faith in some technique. Tasya tasmin praharane pradurbhavami. I will enter into that very technique and defeat him. Alright, this is what Kama says. For example, let's take some who is not married here. Bolo. Yes, Prabhu, your good name? Mahaprem Kirtan. Wonderful name, Prabhuji. Today, Mahaprem Kirtan Prabhu decides, I have to conquer calm. Hari bol. Jai. Shri Radha Shyam Sundar Jiyo ki, Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Sudarshan Jiyo ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So today, Mahaprem Kirtan Prabhu decides, I will conquer calm, and there are two techniques I am going to use. First, eating how many times a day? Once. And second, sleeping on the floor. So Mahaprem Kirtan Prabhu starts his practice. Day 1, eating once a day, sleeping on the floor. Day 2, eating once a day, sleeping on the floor. He continues this practice, and gradually he is thinking, I am now going to defeat Kama. And after 1 month, he becomes well practiced in eating once a day and sleeping on the floor. Now, gradually his reputation starts spreading. Now, he is not Mahaprem Kirtan Prabhu. He is Mahaprem Kirtan Prabhu, eat once a day and sleep on the floor. Okay, that is his reputation. So, after 1 month, then some devotees come to him and ask him, Prabhu, we have heard that you are doing something very special. What are you doing? So then Prabhu tells them, I am eating once a day and sleeping on the floor. Acha, wow. Can you teach us? He says, sure, why not? Then he teaches them. Then his reputation spreads. Then another day, a particular lady comes to him, a Mataji comes and says, Prabhu, I have heard that you are very special devotee. You eat only once and sleep on the floor. Wonderful, Prabhu. Can you also tell me how to advance in spiritual life? Then gradually he starts guiding her. And then they live happily ever after, dear devotee. All right? So Tasya tasmin praharane. I'm just taking as an example, okay? Not that this is going to happen, okay? Tasya tasmin praharane punaha pradurbhavamyaham. So Kama says, I will enter into that very technique and conquer you instead of you conquering me. It's very difficult. In the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Kapil Muni makes a very stark statement, a very surprising statement. Tat srishta srishta srishteshu kon vakhandita deepuman rishim narayanam rite yoshidmaye hamayaya. Amongst all living entities created by Brahma, there is only one person who is free from Kam, and he is Rishi Narayan in Badrikashram. Nobody else. Not even Nar. Alright, Nar and Narayan. Only one person is free. Who is free, dear devotees? Rishi Narayan. This Kamadev, he tried once to entice Bhagavan Shiva. And Bhagavan Shiva got a little angry because of it. And when he got a little angry, Bhagavan Shiva opened his third eye. And from that day, Kamadev became known as Ananga. You know what is Ananga? Without body. Because he burnt him. After some time, Nar and Narayan were also performing austerities, and Indra became a little insecure. He decided to use Kamadev to entice Nar and Narayan. So when Nar and Narayan were performing austerities, Indradev, Kamadev, all of them laid a trap, and there was wonderful music, dancing in front of both of them. And suddenly Narayan Rishi opened his eyes and said, Are Indra, what happened? Are, don't worry. I don't want your throne. Absolutely don't worry. You can happily go home. I don't want your throne. Acha, before you go, Indra, I want to give you a gift. Because taking my darshan should not be fruitless. So I want to give you one gift. So by his mystic potency, he produced one lady, Urvashi, and said, This lady from my side, gift for you. Go home and enjoy. Alright? Don't worry. I am not behind your heavenly planets. Alright? Rest assured, I will never disturb you. You go home, Indra. Dear devotees, only one devotee could behave like this with Kamadev. Which Rishi, dear devotees? Narayan Rishi. Nobody else. So there is no hope for the rest of us, it seems. And therefore, dear devotees, it is very important to understand that nobody can defeat Kamadev. Except for whom, dear devotees? Alright, everybody understood? Okay, that was the lecture. Thank you so much. Okay, Hare Krishna. No? Let's see. Alright. So, it's important to understand, is there a way to conquer Kam? Still. And there is definitely a way. Dear devotees, I would like to now speak from that particular Acharya who was a Naishthik brahmachari throughout his life and a very serious, strict brahmachari who took sannyas directly from the brahmachari ashram, Srila Bhakti Siddhant Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. And how many of us would like to have his understanding of brahmacharya? Please raise our hand. Huh? Wonderful. If we learn from him, we are 100% sure, dear devotees, we will not make a mistake. He was in college one time, he was studying Jyotish. When he was studying Jyotish, he made a group of boys and all of them took a vow that they will remain brahmachari throughout their life. By the time college ended, only one person was remaining in the group. The founder remained, everybody else. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, he wrote an essay about the killing of Vatsasura. So that is today's topic, dear devotees. You might be thinking what happened to Hari Parshad, that suddenly topic changed or something. Huh? No, it is related to Vatsasura. Dear devotees, Vatsasura is a demon who came to kill Krishna He was sent by Kamsa, and his story is described in 4 or 5 verses, very short story in Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto. Kamsa sends Vatsasura. I will speak 2 meanings of the name Vatsa. Please repeat after me. Calf and adolescent boy. These are 2 meanings of Vatsa. Calf and adolescent boy. And this was an Asur, a demon. So this demon took the form of a calf. Therefore, what is the name, dear devotees? Vatsasura, Vatsasura. Also, he entered amongst the cowherd boys. Cowherd boys are also Vatsa. So Vatsasura, the demon between the cowherd boys. So both names Vatsasura, 2 meanings of the same name, Vatsasura. Demon disguised as a calf or demon amongst the cowherd boys, Vatsasura. So when he took the form of a calf and entered amongst the other calves and cowherd boys, none of the cowherd boys were able to recognize him. None of them were able to recognize him. Only one personality recognized Vatsasura. Can you imagine who recognized Vatsasura? Krishna. And Krishna indicated to Balram, hey, did you see the wonderful calf here? I never seen before such a nice calf. Are, nice calf, come here. And Krishna, suddenly when the calf came near, Krishna caught the calf with the 2 hind legs and swung the calf so rapidly, simply by the force of the swinging, the calf died, and threw the calf on a kapitha tree. What is kapitha? Kapitha is an Indian fruit. In Hindi it is called kaith kapal. In English it is called wood apple. Alright, what is it called? Wood apple. In English, all apples. Okay, there is another fruit, tal. Tal is called as ice apple. ICE, ice apple. So tal is which apple? Ice. Kapitha is which apple? Wood apple. Then we also have another fruit, pineapple. Okay? We also have sitaphal, custard apple. And we have the mobile phone also, apple, dear devotee. So there were, so I don't know why all fruits were named behind apple, but at least in Sanskrit we have different names for them. So all the kapitha fruits fell down, the demon was dead, the devatas showered flowers and glorified Krishna, pastime over. That's it. Nothing more. You mean say 4 or 5 verses, pastime is over. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada starts explaining the hidden meaning of the pastime. He specifies that every demon in Krishna Lila represents some anartha in the heart, some problem in the heart of the sadhaka, of the practitioner. So Putana represents one anartha, Dhenukasur represents another anartha, Keshi represents another anartha. Similarly, Vatsasur also represents one anartha, which is calm, lust. Now Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada starts speaking about this pastime. Now please hear carefully. His English is a little difficult, but I will try to make it simple. He says, the neophyte is very susceptible to Vatsasura. I hope you are able to understand. The new devotee is very susceptible to which demon? Vatsasura. He says, this demon cannot be gotten rid of except by the mercy of Krishna. There is only one way to get rid of Vatsasura, and that is, what is that, dear devotees? Mercy of Krishna. Because amongst the entire group of cowherd boys, only one person could understand who is Vatsasura. Who could understand? Krishna. So similarly, in the heart also, only one person will be able to understand where karma is and how to destroy karma. That is Krishna. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur continues and says, the scriptures say that it is not in the power of man to ensure the immunity of boys and girls from getting attracted to each other, except by the means of loving service to Krishna. The scriptures say You cannot prevent men and women from getting attracted to each other except if you engage them in what, dear devotees? Loving service of Krishna. Loving service means service with deep affection. Sometimes we perform some service and that service is without any affection. Sometimes we perform cleaning of the temple and our mind is disturbed, dear devotees. So there is no affection in that seva. But only on having genuine affection of Bhagavan, it is possible to ensure that Vatsasura doesn't take over. He says, please repeat after me. This is declared to be the only effective and natural method. This is the only effective and natural method. What he means is all other methods are ineffective and unnatural. Like I gave 2 methods to Prabhu. What are the 2 methods? Eating once a day, sleeping on the floor. These methods will not work if love of Krishna, prema of Krishna is not present. Nothing will work. Affection towards Krishna must exist. Then he continues. Dear devotees, somebody may ask him at this point of time, what about so many people in the world who stay brahmachari? So many religions are there in the world where people don't get married. So he takes up one religion, Christianity, and he starts speaking about the so-called brahmachari in all the religions around the world. He says there is a conception of Godhead established by people who want to establish kingdom of God on earth. You know, the Christians say we want to establish what? Kingdom of God on earth. But if you scratch the thin coating on the surface of their scheme, you only detect the rotten arrangement for maximum sense enjoyment. For those of you who did not understand, I will explain. Let's say today there is a very devout Christian, devout Christian who decides, I will not get married. There are many who become pastors, they don't get married. And let's say such a person is really, he stays pure and does not at all fall a victim to lust and follows all the teachings of the Bible exactly as they are given. So according to the Bible, dear devotees, what will happen to such a person after death? Heaven. And what will he do in heaven? Enjoy. I hope you are able to understand. So in the end, it was all about what? Enjoyment. And you can take another religion, Islam, dear devotees. And Islam says some things are forbidden, dear devotees. Although there is no such big concept of brahmacharya there, but there are some things forbidden. You are not allowed to drink alcohol. But after you go to heaven, Islamic heaven, you will do one thing there. What will you do, dear devotees? Enjoy. And dear devotees, similarly, in the Vedic religion also there is a concept of brahmacharya. You stay a brahmachari. Don't get entangled into married life. Because if you stay a brahmachari, if you stay pure, then very soon you will end up going back home, back to, and what will I do after going there? Nah, dear devotees, be honest. What do I really want to do after going back to Godhead? Bolo? Because serve, so you can serve here also. You don't need to go back to Godhead to serve. Isn't enough service available here? You can contact the temple management. There is enough seva available. What will we do, Prabhu? Enjoy. So after all, it was all about what, dear devotees? Enjoyment. So if you scratch little bit on the surface of those schemes of, staying brahmachari, you underneath, on many religions in the world, there is the tendency for delayed enjoyment. I hope you are able to understand. That is what most brahmacharya in the world is. And dear devotees, by this I don't mean brahmachari simply by cloth. There are some people in white cloth, but their mindset is also similar. I will reject sense gratification so that later I can enjoy. So dear devotees, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada says, this fake brahmacharya ideal is misconceived by its worldly supporters. This is the fake idea of brahmacharya, that right now I will suffer so that in the afterlife I can enjoy. And this brahmacharya will not work, dear devotees. Please tell me, dear devotees, in this entire conception, right now I will suffer, after death I will enjoy, is there anything about love of Bhagwan involved? Anything about Krishna Prem? It is finally about one's own selfishness. It is just delayed, extended sense gratification. That's what it is. And that is what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, fake brahmacharya. Then what is real brahmacharya? If this is fake brahmacharya, then what is real brahmacharya? Then he answers. He says the scriptures tell us that everyone is a brahmachari right in the womb. Everyone is a brahmachari right in the womb. Dear devotees, now I will explain the meaning of the term brahmachari according to Sanskrit grammar. Please repeat after me. Brahma charati iti brahmachari. Brahma charati iti brahmachari. Brahma, in the absolute supreme truth, charati, he always dwells, he or she dwells. That person who always dwells on the absolute truth is known as what? Brahmachari. Dear devotees, the Bhagavatam describes in the 3rd canto, when we were in the womb of our mother, we were thinking of somebody. Does anybody know whom we were thinking of, dear devotees? Krishna. Right there in the womb, we were, what were we, dear devotees? Brahmachari. So we are brahmacharis by birth, each and every one of us. Brahmachari by birth. But as soon as we came out, we forgot that, and for some time still we were able to remain brahmachari. But as soon as we became adolescent, Vatsasura entered into our heart. I hope you are able to understand. This is the entire meaning of the pastime. Because Vatsasura enters not in childhood. Vatsasura enters the heart in which age? Adolescence. This is the hidden meaning behind the pastime of Vatsasura. So Vatsasura entered the heart at that point of time. And then, dear devotees, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says about those people who take to ascetic practices. You know what is ascetic practices? Like I told him, 2 ascetic practices. Ascetic means to torture your body. That is ascetic practices. So he says the ascetic dreams of obtaining mastery over material nature. He wants to win over material nature. And there is no reference to service or love of Godhead in this entire matter. The only thing is to conquer negativity. There is no positivity in this entire affair. And dear devotees, I also remember at one point of time, I was undergoing brahmachari training. This was in the year 2002. I was undergoing brahmachari training. I stayed for 5 years in brahmachari training. And dear devotees, I remember we were told as brahmacharis that you are all a big army and you have to fight against Maya and defeat Maya. Eat once a day, sleep on the floor, take austerity and defeat Maya. So that is all we had in our minds, dear devotees. So I remember we had gone to Jagannath Puri and all the brahmachari boys, we had one big photograph on the ocean side. We had taken a photograph. And we had put that photograph outside the brahmacharya ashram, that this is brahmacharya ashram. As the years passed by, we started crossing out. The soldiers started falling. One by one, we started crossing out the faces of, not literally, I had a habit, I used to put a dot under there, little. So one by one, in my mind, I started crossing out until I was remaining, dear devotees. And after 1 or 2 more years, I had to cross myself out, dear devotees. Because then I said, better why to keep the photo? I removed the photo only, dear devotees. Because simply ascetic practices without any positivity or without love of Krishna is not going to help. Certainly not going to help. Dear devotees, if ascetic practices would have worked, then in the Srimad Bhagavatam there is one personality described, Saubhari Muni. Saubhari was performing austerities underwater. Dear devotees, underwater. He didn't even have a chance to look at the world outside. Just underwater he is performing austerity. There is no chance of Saubhari Muni falling. But Saubhari Muni doesn't have any positive love of Krishna in his heart. One fine day, Saubhari Muni just sees that there are 2 fish who are mating. And simply by that, seeing that, Saubhari Muni gets agitated. He comes out of the water and gets married to multiple ladies. So how many of us can have Ashtanga Yoga like Saubhari Muni? So that is not possible. So if it is not possible to have Ashtanga Yoga like Saubhari Muni, so we should put our hopes somewhere else, not in Ashtanga Yoga. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada says very important words. Now he is reaching the end of his article. He says, we have explained on many occasions that spiritual life is fully transcendental and has nothing to do with material life. And he says, no material consideration can form any part of spiritual training or conduct. He says, no material adjustment can be part of any genuine spiritual training. And then he makes a very important statement. Please repeat after me. It is not a spiritual affair to be even able to control one's desires. So he says it is not a spiritual affair to be able to control one's desires. There is nothing spiritual about controlling your desires. Nothing spiritual. Dear devotees, please tell me, desires in the mind are material or spiritual? Material. The control that we try to enforce a control on that. Our mind is material or spiritual? Material. So control using the material mind over material desires. Is there anything spiritual about all of these, dear devotees? Then how do you finally control the mind and control the senses? So he says, please repeat after me. Such self-control is automatically produced by the loving awakening of the soul. This is what he says. As soon as you have little bit of genuine attachment towards Krishna, immediately all the other tastes go away. Till that time one must do sadhana, one must perform bhakti, but one must not try to think that simply by basic elementary sadhana bhakti one will be able to overcome kama. You need param drishtva, some very high taste to overcome kama, dear devotees. And to overcome that kama, you need a higher taste, a higher ras, which is bhakti ras. And that bhakti ras is not available for a beginner. And because bhakti ras is not available for a beginner, therefore for a beginner the default fallback is kama. Because the Jivatma doesn't want to give up. The Jivatma doesn't want to give up attachment to something which it considers very dear. The Jivatma doesn't give up calm so easily. It is only when the Jivatma finds something much better that the Jivatma gradually lets go, not otherwise, dear devotees. Only on having a higher taste will the Jivatma give up. The Jivatma is not foolish, pagal nahi ho. I hope you are able to understand. First the Jivatma say, first you give me something better, uske baad we will see. And you may try to do something artificial. It may work for some time. But Kamadev is laughing. He's saying, whatever other means you are using, I am going to enter into those very means. And I will end up conquering you. Dear devotees, therefore, Sri Rupa Goswami says in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, please repeat after me. Nivrittanupayogitvan Duruhatvadayam rasaha. Please hear carefully. Sri Rupa Goswami says in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, dear devotees, finally all of us have to relish one substance, and that is called Bhakti Ras. What is it called, dear devotees? Now for relishing Bhakti Ras, it is very, very important that we should not try to over cultivate Vairagya. I hope you are able to understand. Don't try to over cultivate. What is Vairagya, dear devotees? Detachment, renunciation. Because what happens, some people, they take the sandpaper of Vairagya and they start scraping their heart, thinking that one day I will scrape away all my material desires from the heart. And in the process of doing that, by scraping your heart with the sandpaper of Vairagya, you may end up scraping your heart itself. That very heart, which is later going to become a container for Bhakti Ras. And since now you don't have a heart remaining, you become very hard at heart. You may see sometimes people who have excessively scraped their heart with the sandpaper of Vairagya, they may be in any ashram, but they behave in a very hard-hearted manner. In our Sampradaya, Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, we have Grihasthas who are very Rasika. Rasika means connoisseurs of Bhakti Rasa. And we have sannyasis also who are Rasika. I'll give you examples of sannyasis who are like Sri Prabodhanand Saraswati, connoisseur of Bhakti. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of course he is Bhagwan. Sri Prabodhanand Saraswati, connoisseur of Bhakti Ras. Dear devotees. Yes. Shri Radha Shyam Sundar ki, Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Jiv ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So dear devotees, once again please hear carefully. In our Sampradaya, there are many connoisseurs of Bhakti Ras in each and every ashram. Brahmacharya ashram, Grihastha ashram, Vanaprastha ashram, Sanya. It has nothing to do with ashram. It is mindset. So some people have that excessive Vairagi mindset. But that excessive Vairagya is hurtful for bhakti. Vairagya which comes as a natural side effect of bhakti is good. I hope you are able to understand. But over cultivation of Vairagya external of bhakti is negative. Bhakti yoga will naturally give some Vairagya. For example, today is which day? Ekadashi. So Bhakti yoga will tell you today you should not eat grains. Or if your body is more tolerant, today you survive on water or juice. That's all. This is the renunciation for a Bhakti yogi. Please tell me, is there any greater regular renunciation prescribed for a Bhakti yogi? Following Ekadashi is one of the 64 limbs of Bhakti given in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. I hope you are able to understand. Ekadashi is a limb of Bhakti. Sleeping on the floor is not limb of Bhakti. Eating once a day is not limb of bhakti. These come from another branch of yoga. Which yoga do these come from, dear devotees? Ashtanga yoga. So when Ashtanga yoga practices are mixed with bhakti yoga, they start scraping your heart with the sandpaper. Usually what should happen? One should have bhakti yoga, and the sweetness of bhakti yoga helps you overcome any material desires. Instead, people take practices from other yoga and start scraping their heart. That creates difficulty. And Sri Rupa Goswami says, tomorrow when the opportunity will come for relishing the highest rasa, amongst 5 rasas, which is the highest rasa, dear devotees? Madhurya. And in Madhurya rasa also there will be pastimes of the supreme masculine entity and the supreme feminine entity. Who are the supreme masculine and feminine entity? Radha and Krishna. Radha, Shyam, Sundar. That time this person will run away, who has scraped his heart. Why? Because he doesn't like to hear about men and women. He runs away from the 10th canto. Why? Because he thinks, if I dive into 10th canto, I may fall down. And I don't want to fall down. Dear devotees, his or her renunciation is always putting him in fear. Always putting in fear. I am just one step away from fall down. You know, that is that sort of renunciation. I am just one step away from fall down. Please tell me, is this renunciation sustainable or non-sustainable? Non-sustainable. And a person who has natural love of Bhagavan in his heart and who has developed all the wonderful qualities of Bhakti Yoga and has seen the prema of Shri Shri Radha Krishna with the entire spectrum of prema, union and separation, they are fully convinced that there is no such prema in this material world, because they have experienced by hearing from the acharyas. So they know that there is no such prema in this world. Sri Jiva Goswami says, forget about Radha Krishna prema. Sri Jiva Goswami says, yatamita rasa shastre vyanji vaidagdhya vrindam tad anumapi na vetum kalpate kami loka. Take the best romantic literature in the material world. Please tell me here in the Western world, which is the greatest romantic story to be told? Yeah, Romeo and Juliet. Every time I ask, I get the same answer. Okay? And in India also there are some romantic stories, Nala Damayanti, Dushyant, Shakuntala, you might have heard some of them. Huh? So there are some romantic stories in India also. You take, Jiva Goswami says, take all those stories and take all the romance that is there in those stories. Take all of it. It belongs to which world? Material world or spiritual world? He says the ordinary person walking on the street will not be able to experience even one fraction of what is given in the material literature. So I'll ask everybody a question. How many of you experienced love like Romeo and Juliet in your life? Bola. Raise your hands. We are not talking spiritual world, but material world. How many of you like, because you know what happened at the end of Romeo and Juliet, I was told. I didn't read. I was told by a devotee, they both died. Something like that happened. So, we didn't go through death in our. So, dear devotees, even the expertise of the material world is not available to the ordinary person. Sri Jiva Goswami says. And all that expertise of material romantic literature is nothing in front of the ocean of the prema of Shri Shri Radha Krishna. Oh my goodness. Just the phrase love, once you start exploring, you will dive deep in that ocean. I will give names, dear devotees, in Sanskrit names that are used to describe Shri Shri Radha Krishna's love. Please give me English translations, alright? I will say Sanskrit, please give me English. Prema, Sneha, friendship is Maitri, affection, okay? Pranay, no. Romance is Shringar. Preeti? Huh? Preeti? That is already said, Sneha. Dear? No, no. Preeti, Preeti. Anurag? Love. Are dear devotees, just enter once into this ocean. I hope you are able to understand. Then you will walk free. In the world, wherever you go, you will be free. Because wherever you will look, even if you happen to see some material calm, you will know this is a very small part of the spectrum of the material world. And all the expertise of the material world is nothing in front of the prema of Radha and Krishna. You will know and you will be convinced. And when you will be convinced, that is the time you will be free, dear devotees. That is the time Vatsasura will be killed finally. And when Vatsasura is killed, dear devotees, Bhagavan will make his presence very quickly available in that heart. Alright? Meanwhile, until Vatsasura is killed, what does Krishna think about us? It's very important to understand. Until Vatsasura is killed, we may think very negatively about ourselves. Like, oh, I am the worst, something like that. What does Krishna think about us? So dear devotees, I'd like to specify two last verses, both by Shri Krishna. Please repeat after me. Badhyamanopi madbhakto Vishayair ajitendriyah Prayah pragalbhaya bhaktya Vishayair nabhibhuyate. He says, please hear carefully, dear devotees. In the 11th canto, 14th chapter, 18th, 11, 14, 18. Badhyamanopi mad bhakto. Even if my devotee has not fully conquered his senses, he may be harassed by material desires. Bhagavan says, but prayah pragalbhaya bhaktya, but by his unflinching devotion, Vishayair na bibhuyate, he will not be defeated. Now, dear devotees, how can a devotee who has material desires be called an unflinching devotee? Because last I heard, anybody who has material desires cannot be called an unflinching devotee. But Krishna says, I am repeating the translation, my dear Uddhav, if my devotee has not fully conquered his senses, he may be harassed by material desires. But because of his unflinching devotion for me, he will not be defeated by sense gratification. Now, where is the unflinching devotion if he is harassed by sense gratification? Can anybody tell me? Sadhana bhakti, he is performing sadhana bhakti, but he is still falling victim to material desires. Sadhu Sangha is there, but he is still falling victim to material. How can the devotee be called unflinching? Okay. Dear devotees, please hear. The acharyas explain. Unflinching means that even though he or she has material desires, he will not take to a path besides bhakti yoga. He will only take to practices of which yoga? Bhakti yoga. That is the unflinching factor. He will not suddenly go to a Jyotish and say, Arey, can you look at my hand and tell me when Vatsasura will be conquered? That is not the devotee. That is a flinching devotee. Unflinching devotee is somebody who knows simply by bhakti yoga, but very powerful bhakti yoga is needed. Very powerful bhakti yoga is needed. You can't just do Hindi mein dulmul. ऐसा Bhakti Yoga light, Bhakti. You can't do that. Powerful. Satam prasangan mama virya samvido bhavanti hritkarana rasayana katha. There should be wonderful experience of Bhakti Ras. Wonderful experience. When you go home, you should say, wonderful, today I drowned in Bhakti Ras. That experience should be there, dear devotees. And Sri Krishna also speaks another verse in the 11th canto. Please repeat after me. Na sadhayati mam yogo na sankhyam dharma uddhava na swadhyayas tapas tyago yatha bhaktir mamorjita. Na sadhayati mam yogo. Uddhav, yoga doesn't conquer me. Na sankyam, neither sankhya philosophy. Dharma, neither pious activities. Na swadhyaya, self-study doesn't conquer me. Tapas, tyaga, renunciation and austerity also doesn't conquer me. Yatha bhaktir, but only one entity conquers me. Who conquers me? Bhakti. Mama urjita bhakti, very powerful bhakti should be there. Urjita bhakti, then it will be done, the devotees. Otherwise, Ashtanga yoga, nah. It is not possible. It is possible only by bhakti yoga, the devotees. In this way, Vatsasura is finally defeated, and by a higher taste, without torturing the body, without scraping your heart with the sandpaper of Vairagya. The heart remains, but without material desires. And the same heart becomes a container for what, dear devotees? Bhakti Ras. And then when Bhakti Ras makes appearance, your aim of life is achieved. Alright? So thank you very much, dear devotees. Yadatra skhalitam kinchit vidvam sahapura yantu tat. Yadatra saushthavam kinchit tad guroreva me nahi. Yadatra skalitam kinchit. It is possible I might have made a mistake while speaking something. Vidvam saha. You are learned devotees. Purayantu tat. Please correct any mistakes. But yadatra saushthavam kinchit. If there is anything nice in what I spoke, please remember tad guroreva. It came from my Gurujanas, my Diksha Guru, my Shiksha Gurus, all the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, all the God brothers of Srila Prabhupada, all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas in Mahaprabhu's family from the past or in the future or in the present, including all of you are also my Gurus. It belongs to you. May nahi. It doesn't belong to me. Thank you very much, Madhupati Prabhu, for kindly inviting me and making this program happen. Srila Prabhupada ki Hare Krishna. So, Prabhu, how much time do we have for Q&A, or should we pause? 1 hour? No. Okay, sure. So, if there are any questions, yes, Akhilesh Krishna Prabhu. Dear devotees, Akhilesh Krishna Prabhu, got me here. He's been kindly hosting me. Let's give a round of applause for Akhilesh Krishna Prabhu. Okay. So, why does Shri Narad Muni do such things? So, I was doing some research on Narad Muni, and it is specified Nityam cha Kalaha Priya. Thoda he likes to light a fire sometimes. He has some nature, On the order of Bhagavan, by the desire of Bhagavan. So, Kalahanam cha kartavyo nityam cha kalaha priya. In Mahabharata it is described. So that he is the instigator sometimes of various conflicts and difficult situations. And he does that because of the desire of Bhagavan. So like when Vasudeva and Devaki gave birth to the first child, Vasudeva honestly brought the first child to Kamsa and said, this is first child. Kamsa said, I am threatened by the 8th, not the first. And things ended there. Until Narad Muni came and told Kamsa, how do you know, Kamsa? Which one is first? If I give you a flower, which is the first petal and which is the last petal? Kamsa got. And then Kamsa slaughtered all the children of Vasudeva. Because there is some connection, and Narad Muni is working on the order of Bhagavan to fulfill his role. So, thoda Kalaha Priya. Kalaha is called Kali, quarrel. You say age of Kali, age of quarrel. So, I come from Maharashtra. In Maharashtra, there is a famous saying. Somebody who instigates fights between others, we call them Kalicha Narad. Kalicha Narad, which means Kaliyug ka Narad. Kaliyugi Narad. We say like that. Because now I remember the verse. Prakarta kalahanam cha nityam cha kalaha priya. So this is, he is the instigator of quarrels, and he takes pleasure when he sees some quarrel between Devatas and Asuras, because he knows Bhagavan's desire is coming true. So like that. So I hope that clarifies. Thank you. Okay, why is it always in respect to man who is following woman?
Most of the katha what we hear, it is only like this, it's only one direction.
Okay. See, first and foremost, it has to be all right. And the first and foremost, Shastra speaks equally to both. I will quote Shastra to show. I wish I could show here, but those of you who have Veda base, you can take out Veda base. In Veda base, Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.8. 5.5.8. Alright. The first line says, Pumsa striya mithuni bhavam ekam etam tayor mitho hridaya granthi mahu. Pumsa striya mithuni bhavam etam. Attraction, mutual attraction is there between man and woman. If only the man was attracted to the lady and the lady was not attracted to the man, the lady would never say yes. So, mithuni bhavam, there is mutual attraction between man and woman. So that is the mutual attraction, and from the side of the man, it is the man who acts as the pursuer in most cases. But in some cases, the lady also acts as the pursuer. An example of this is given in the pastime of Kashyap and Diti, where Diti pursued Kashyap. So there are pastimes also in Shastra where the lady pursues the man, but most pastimes in Shastra are vice versa. But as far as attraction is concerned, there is mutual attraction between both. And in fact, there is a pastime in the Mahabharata where there is a particular king who goes to the forest and becomes a rishi, a sage. And after becoming a rishi, something happens to him, and suddenly he becomes a lady. Some mystic potency, some curse or something, he becomes a lady. And after becoming a lady, he comes back to the ashram, and then he is a little embarrassed to tell everybody that actually I was that rishi before. He is a lady now, and he gets married to one of the rishi. And after a few years, he is asked, you have experienced life both as a man and as a woman. Would you like to revert back to the life of a man? So the answer he gives is no. You say, why? It's because the attraction that I feel in this body, I feel is greater than the attraction that I feel in the male body. I hope you are able to understand. So this men express their pursuit by running after a lady in most cases. Women also express their pursuit, but not by running after a man directly. Women express their pursuit by different ways. By dressing nicely, I hope you are able to understand. By makeup. All of these are symptoms of pursuit. They may not tell you, but these are all symptoms of pursuit. Alright, therefore the learned Vidwans say that lust manifests in different ways in men and women. In men it manifests as the direct pursuit or convincing a lady. In lady it manifests as dressing up nicely, talking, laughing, joking, makeup, etc. All these things, dear devotee. And if you don't believe me, you can look at the world outside. 90% of the cosmetics market is aimed not at men. 90% of the cosmetics market is aimed at whom? So, please tell me, who is Kamadev targeting more? Achha, I'll tell you another fact. There are these social media platforms on which you can post a video of yourself dancing. And believe it or not, I have read in an article that the platforms are targeted in such a way to encourage the ladies that they can, make videos of themselves, either dancing or singing or something like that. So Kamadev targets ladies much more than Kamadev targets men. But this fact, just because the man is in direct pursuit, therefore it is not often observed. But ladies are a bigger target of Kamadev. And because I told you, Kama doesn't only mean lust. I gave another meaning of Kama in the beginning. What is the another meaning? Creative desire. Yes. So the desire to be creative with anything is also Kama. So I hope that answers your query. Thank you. Yes, Mataji. How do we reconcile? There are statements that we should give up bhoga, aishwarya. Those are effects of bhakti. Those are not causes of bhakti. There is a verse in the Bhagavatam, Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yogaha Prayojitaha Janayatyashu Vairagyam Jnanam Cha Yad Ahaitukam. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga. When there is genuine bhakti towards Bhagavan Vasudev, Janayati Ashu, very quickly there develops Vairagyam Ahaitukam, causeless detachment. Some people want to first put detachment and then develop bhakti. And some people want to first develop bhakti and then have detachment as a natural side effect. Which approach is better? Please tell me, Mataji. Second approach is better. There is a child who, small children, they drink breast milk, and some small children are attached to breast milk because they can't give up. That's the only thing they have. That's the only food they have. How does a child give up breast milk? By beating the child? How does a child give up breast milk? You feed them anna. Anna prashan is done. When they taste anna, oh my goodness. For the first time they taste carbohydrates, gluten. And then they realize, oh, param drishtva, oh yes. Then the child doesn't ask. I hope you are able to understand. So that is the method. So there are two ways of ripening a mango, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say. One is to forcibly pull down the mango and beat it with a stick. And second is to let it stay on the tree and get nurtured, and in some time it will happen. So which is the organic and natural method? For the second method. So that is what. Renunciation should be a natural side effect of bhakti. We say we want a flower, a lotus flower. And so let's say let's say it's like this. If you want to become a lotus flower, you should first develop fragrance. Is that how it works, Mataji? No. How does it work? If you have the proper seed, you will automatically develop into a lotus flower and fragrance. Instead, what sometimes we are trying to do, we are trying to bring petals, sticking them together, we are putting fragrance on it, and we are calling it lotus flower. Do we want to have that sort of a lotus flower or a natural lotus flower? Natural. A natural lotus flower only grows in nature. You can't bring the petals from 10 directions and put lotus fragrance on it and then say, I go. So you can't cultivate the symptoms individually. Today you hear in class, let's say today I came and give a class that a devotee should have sense control. And then devotees go home and from today sense control. Right? Next day they come in class, a devotee should have humility. Acha. Next day they go home and humility. And third day they go, a devotee should be charitable. Acha. Then they go home and devotee should be charitable. And next day they come, a devotee should be kind to others. Acha, I forgot this. So today I will cultivate kindness. Aisa ek karke. By the time I cultivate kindness, I will lose austerity. There are 26 qualities of a devotee. Mataji, tell me, from where should I get 26 qualities? So that is. So otherwise, I'll have to get 26 fragrances from 26 places and put them on the lotus flower. I saw that. It should not be like that. They develop naturally in the heart of a person who has the proper attitude. And Bhagavan says, even if right now there are sense desires harassing us, that is not such a big problem. The bigger problem is if we are staying dedicated to Bhakti Yoga or not. That is the bigger problem. And there is a verse in the 5th canto, Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarvair gunais tatra samasate suraha. A person who has unflinching bhakti for Bhagavan, all the devatas with all the good qualities manifest in his or her character. You don't need to do it separately. So one day we will be running to cultivate renunciation. Another day we will be cultivating charity. Third day we are cultivating tolerance. Fourth day, humility. And like it's like we are constantly trying to keep them from flying away in the wind, all these qualities. And one fine day, the force of the wind is so much, all qualities fly out. Because that's not how qualities are developed. Qualities are an inherent part of one's character. They cannot be gained externally. Even if you gain it externally, it's like a perfume. It stays on your hand for some time and then goes away. Would we want to have external perfume, or would we want to be fragrant ourselves? What do we want to be? We want to be the perfume. I hope you're able to understand. That's what we want to be. So, that's how, I hope that answers your query, Mataji. The qualities don't come first. First comes bhakti. Huh? No separate cultivation. You only perform the limbs of bhakti, and whatever austerity or renunciation is part of the limbs of bhakti, only that much is expected from you. Don't try to bring anything separate. But tomorrow somebody may say austerity is to eat only once a day. Yeah, sure. And then we may eat only once a day. But that is for an Ashtanga yogi, not for a bhakti yogi. Right? Sure. Why not? Saubhari. Garuda. Sure. That he had committed an offense to Garud Dev, and therefore he fell down as a result of that offense. But even if he would have continued in the water, that would have been more miserable for him. Because what is he doing inside water? He is getting siddhis. Once he gets siddhis, what will he do? Enjoy. Ho gaya, kaam khatam. So instead of delaying the enjoyment, Bhagavan brought it earlier upon him. That is what it is. Unless there is a conception of seva, unless there is prema, there is no possibility of. And what is prema, dear devotees? Okay, that is good, but dear devotees, prema is the ability to sacrifice one's happiness for the happiness of Bhagavan. That is prema. The ability to sacrifice one's happiness for whose happiness? Bhagavan, Shri Krishna's happiness. That is prema. Everything else is vyapar. You know what is vyapar, Mataji? Huh? Business or trade. Bhagavan, I have 16 rounds for regulating into 30 years. Bhagavan, where is my ticket back to Godhead? Vyapar. Prema doesn't ask any such thing. Prema says, Bhagavan, whatever you give, aslishya vapadaratam pinashtumam adarshanan marmahatam karotuva. At the end of my life, when I die, you may not give me darshan. Bolo. Dear devotees, can there be anything more painful for the devotee than this? Adarshanan marmahatam karotuva. At the end of my life, you may not give me darshan. But I will not give up on you. Bhagavan, yatha tatha va vidadhatu lampato. No matter how he behaves, mat prananathastu sa eva. My Lord of life is only he. Unflinching bhakti. Na aparaha, nobody else. That, Mataji, is prema. The ability to sacrifice one's happiness for the happiness of Bhagavan. If we have that, then there is nothing to worry about in the material world. Nothing to worry about. Absolutely nothing to worry about. But if prema is not there, then there is everything to worry about. Even liberation will give you trouble. I have not yet gone back to Godhead. I have not yet gone back to Godhead. When will I go? When will I go? I have not yet gone. Will I go or will I not go? Will I remember Krishna at the moment of that or will I not remember? So, Sri Rupa Goswami says, Bhukti is pishachi, mukti is also pishachi. Mukti is priya. Desire for liberation is also pishachi. Like a ghost, it takes over your heart. So, prema is the answer. Alright, Mataji? Thank you. Sure.
When you were explaining, you said lust is Vatsasura. Vatsasura, one of the meaning is adolescent, right? So this, when you were explaining, you were also mentioning that how lust appears during adolescence, right? But then lust is very early and the person is reaching also, right?
Yeah.
Into the end of the person's life, there's still lust.
Yeah.
So what is the significance?
Because Vatsasura entered amongst adolescent boys. Yeah. It enters into one's life during adolescence. Just as Vatsasura entered the boys when the boys were adolescent age. So that is the significance of the fasting. Thank you. Yes, Mataji. Let's give mic, Mataji. Yeah.
Somebody was, I'm talking, my question is not like that we should see Krishna in everything, every living entity. So when there are such, living entities doing harm to us, how should we see Krishna in them?
How should we see Krishna in people who are doing negative things?
Yes,
To us or to anybody?
to anybody.
Yeah. Why on? To anybody. There are people killing small children, isn't it? How can we see Krishna in them? Because so the answer to this is given by the Upanishads, and Srila Prabhupada quotes Kaushitaki Brahman Upanishad in Bhagavad Gita 5.15 purport. Those who have in their phone can take out Bhagavad Gita 5.15 purport. I am also taking it out and I will quote the purport. In the purport there is a section from the Kaushitaki Brahman Upanishad quoted by Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada says, the Vedic hymns therefore declare, Esha uhyeva sadhu karma karayati tam yamebhyo lokebhya unninishate. Esha eva sadhu karma karayati yam adho ninishate. Esha uhi eva sadhu karma karayati. In Hindi I will say, did you find, Mataji? In the purport? 5.15 Bhagavad Gita purport, in the paragraph. In the purport, Esha uhyeva sadhu karma karayati tam yamebhyo lokebhya unninishate. Didn't find? How many found in the purport? You found? Yeah. Mataji, behind you they have found. Huh? Didn't? 5.15. 1.5. Just above the verse, Agyo Jantur Anishoyam. Did you find there in the paragraph he is quoting? Yes? Yeah? Okay. You found? Esha uhi eva sadhu karma. In Hindi I will say, yahi acha kaam karata hai. He only makes a person do good things. Tam yamebhyo lokebhya unninishate. Jisko wo upar chadhana chahta hai. Whom he wants to elevate. He makes him do good work. Esha uhi eva asadhu karma karayati. Yahi बुरा काम कराता है जिसको नीचे खींचना चाहता है. And he is the one who makes a person act incorrectly if he wants to pull a person down. Acha, why will Bhagavan do that? Pahla big question. Why will Bhagavan do such a thing? Ki somebody he is pulling up, somebody he is pulling down. There is a big section in Vedanta Sutra about this. This section is called, every section is called Adhikaran. Okay, so this section is called Vaishamya Naigranya Adhikaran, where it is said Bhagavan is not biased, nor is Bhagavan cruel. The sutra I am speaking, this is from Vedanta Sutra 2.1 around 33, 34, 2.1, 33 or 34. वैषम्य नैर्घृण्ये न तु सापेक्षत्वात् तथा ही दर्शयति. दिस इज द ओरिजिनल सूत्र. वैषम्य नैर्घृण्ये न, हिंदी में भगवान में विषमता नहीं है और क्रूरता नहीं है. इंग्लिश, भगवान इज नॉट बायस्ड, भगवान इज नॉट क्रूएल. वाई भगवान इज सापेक्ष? बिकॉज भगवान looks at everybody's previous karma and then gives them the tendency to go down or go up. The acharyas give a wonderful example to explain this. Acharyas say Bhagwan is parjanyavat. Parjanya is rainfall. Bhagwan is like rainfall. When rain falls, yesterday rain fell, it fell everywhere in the area. In one part of the area, a lotus flower grows. In another part of the area, a thorny bush grows. Is it the fault of the rainfall? Whose fault is it? Huh? Seed. It is the fault of the seed. So Bhagavan is like rainfall. He is just encouraging everybody's seeds. I hope you are able to understand. Somebody's seed is from past life negative. Somebody's seed is from past life positive. From past life there is somebody who is cultivating the seed. I want to kill somebody and see what is the pleasure. इच्छा ही पूरा नहीं हुआ मेरा. I couldn't fulfill my desire in last life. I want to see how it is to slaughter somebody, to smash their head with a hammer. I want to see. So Bhagavan says, अच्छा ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं बेटा, चलो चलो, come on, go ahead. And then Bhagavan find there is also another person who has to receive the negative karma of being slaughtered. So just as the calf is able to locate mother cow amongst millions of cows, karma is able to locate the intended recipient. So the performer of the new karma with the hammer in the hand comes in contact with the receiver of old karma. And the receiver of the old karma becomes helpless and receives the karma. And now this performer of the new karma has karma on his head. Future mein something similar is going to happen to them. And future mein Bhagavan will be encouraging somebody else. Chalo beta, smash his head. I hope you are able to understand like this. So this Eshahu eva sadhu karma karayati tam yamebhyo lokebhya unninishate Esha uhyeva sadhu karma karayati yam adho ninishate. यही अच्छा कर्म कराता है जिसको ऊपर उठाना चाहता है, और यही बुरा कर्म भी कराता है जिसको नीचे खींचना चाहता है. But all of this is expecting the previous karma of the living entity. Bhagavan is not biased, neither is Bhagavan cruel. This is big topic in Vedanta Sutra. So I hope that answers. How do you look at Bhagavan in such? So I told you how you can look. Bhagavan is the, what do you say, catalyst of the activity. Bhagavan is the catalyst of each and every activity, positive or negative. In the 18th chapter of Gita, there are 5 factors of karma mentioned. And I will 18.14, please take out the verse 18.14. 18.14. अधिष्ठानं तथा कर्ता करणं च पृथक विधम विविधाश्च पृथक चेष्टा दैवं चैवात्र पंचमम. Mataji, you have the translation in front of you? Can you please read the translation on the mic?
The place of action, the body, the performer, the various senses, the many different kinds of endeavor, and ultimately the super soul. These are the 5 factors of action.
There are 5 factors required for any action. First, the place of action. Who is the place where the action is? That is the body. That body is also controlled by whom? Krishna. If Krishna wants, Before he can strike another person, his body will have a paralysis. But Bhagavan doesn't do that. Right? So the first thing is also controlled by Bhagavan. Second is performer. Performer also, I told you, no, Bhagavan like rain gives encouragement. Chalo beta, go ahead. Go smoke a cigarette. Chalo beta. So like this, Bhagavan gives encouragement. Third, the various senses are also controlled by whom? Bhagavan. The many different kinds of endeavor are also controlled by Bhagavan, and ultimately final sanction is given by Super Soul. All these are factors of action. So in every activity you can see Bhagavan in 5 factors of action, Mataji. Okay, that is the answer to your query. I hope that satisfies your query.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I think he gives us that diagnosis that you explained. Thank you very much. I have like other aspect of that maybe I understood some of it, but you can put more light on. So how do I see Krishna in one person who is doing a bad thing? For example, I see, for example, someone is offering a thing, like Krishna is in this person, Krishna is in this person, Krishna is sitting in the localized form of Paramatma in everyone. So, for example, a thief comes, sadhu comes, we say, oh, Krishna comes. We should think in terms of like practical, I should, feed this sadhu or give some Krishna, like, who knows that Krishna came, right? So that's sense. So, but Krishna lives in every heart.
Yeah.
Whether it's a sinner or
A sadhu.
So it's very easy to see Krishna in sadhus, but it is very difficult to see Krishna in the persons who are doing bad things.
So therefore I told you, no?
Yeah, so I got it. They are inspired from their seed inside, and as you say that Krishna is the catalyst.
Yeah.
So this aspect, but how I see Krishna in a localist form of, I still got it. It's a localist form of
Sure,
Krishna,
yeah.
inside that bad person who is inspired.
Yeah. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto mattah smritirjnanam apohanam cha. I am the super soul in everyone's heart. From me comes knowledge, remembrance, how to act, how not to act. That is who Bhagavan is. He is inspiring everybody. The thief is inspiring. Chalo, chori karo. Aaj acha din hai. Chalo.
So Prabhuji, if the thief comes and Krishna is inside in his heart, so inspiring that thief to steal,
Yeah.
and we bring the danda,
ठीक है.
and then
We hear Krishna is inspiring us to beat him. सीधी बात है. हाँ. बोलो. Krishna is inspiring us to smash his head with the danda, no problem. But so what is wrong in that?
so Prabhuji, can you put some light where we are doing Krishna is inside in his heart and we are beating him?
You are not beating Krishna. Let's be clear about that. You are not beating.
Yeah. What my
Yeah.
question
Krishna is not disrespected by hitting the body. Krishna asked Arjun to kill everybody on the battlefield, although in everyone's heart there is Krishna. By killing the body, even the Jivatma is not killed. What to speak of Paramatma? Isn't it? Huh? That's what Krishna taught in the Bhagavad Gita, is in the 2nd chapter. Dehi nityam avadhyayam. That Dehi, the living entity, is avadhya. It cannot be killed. So Bhagavan is in no tension that if I am in the thief's heart, thief के सर पे डंडा पड़ेगा तो मेरे पे भी डंडा पड़ेगा. ऐसे Bhagavan has no that headache. ठीक है. Bhagavan says I am always with the soul of this thief. Whether this thief gets killed or injured or stays in a coma due to the injuries, no problem. I am always going to be there with the thief. this living entity. The living entity is ultimately not a thief. But temporarily they have taken a designation of a thief. Bhagavan doesn't take sides with temporary designations. Bhagavan is with the living entity. That's what. So don't worry, if a thief comes, you take a danda. ठीक है माता जी? हाँ. नहीं तो you will be, should I eat or not? ऐसा वो हो जाएगा ना. We have to do. हाँ. अग्निदो गरदश्चैव शस्त्रपाणिर्धनापः क्षेत्रदारापहारी च षडेते ह्याततायिनः. There are 6 aggressors. One who sets fire, one who gives poison, one who attacks with weapons, one who steals wealth. Yeah. One who steals property, one who steals spouse. You know, one who forcibly takes away, kidnaps one's spouse. These are atatais. There is no harm in killing an atatai. And Kauravas had done all 6 with Pandavas. Agnidev, they had set fire. Garadaha, given poison. Shastrapanir, attacked with weapons. Dhanapaha, stolen wealth. Kshetra, stolen property. Dara, and also tried to steal their wife. Therefore, Krishna said, from Dharma Shastra they have to be killed. They have done all 6 aggressions with you. And so a thief is also one of the 6 types of aggressors. And there is no sinful reaction for killing a thief in that manner. But it should be a confirmed thief.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So, just following this Mataji's question, when she said that, okay, if a thief comes, we should smash his head with the danda or no. So, you said that it is okay. Of course, the self-protection is the best karma anyway. So, but if she does that to the thief, if she smashes head, doesn't she have to pay for her karma later on? Because one of our goals is not to be a footprint, not to have any karma here. Because if we have good karma or bad karma, we're going to come again here to, for suffering or for reward.
So, if a thief comes and you decide not to do anything, because if you do something, you are creating a new karma, then how do you? So, Bhagavan tells Arjun, by staying silent, you will not be able to avoid karma. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtati akarmakrit. In Gita, even for a moment, nobody can stay without creating new karma. Mataji, by staying silent, you will not be able to avoid new karma. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtatya karmakrit. I will pull out, dear devotees, you can pull out the verse. (3.5). Alright, Bhagavad Gita 3.5. Mataji, you have the phone. You have Gita in front of you, Mataji? Can you show her the translation? Mataji, you please read the translation from 3.5 Bhagavad Gita. Please read in the mic, Mataji.
Everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the qualities he has acquired from the modes of material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment.
Bulli, this is Gita. No, don't jump to other conclusion. First, let's solve this. Pahla. We will solve this before we jump to other conclusions. First and foremost, your not acting is also going to create a karma. You were supposed to do a positive karma, bring positive karma by punishing the perpetrator of theft. But you did not act at that point of time. By not doing that, a negative karma will be created. Although it was in your power to stop somebody, you did not stop. So that will bring new karma. It will not prevent your footprint of karma. There is only one way of ensuring that karma is not, new karma is not created. You do what is dharma. And even if a new karma is created, pious karma is created, you offer that to Bhagavan. Then and only then it is called karma yoga, not otherwise. If you stop refraining from karma and think it is karma, you will avoid a footprint, it is not going to happen. Inaction leads to bigger negative karma. When Draupadi was being disrobed, many people should have taken action, but they kept quiet. That Bhishma kept quiet on that day. That sealed his fate. That sealed his fate on that day. Isn't it? So by not acting, we may create negative karma. The only way to remove karma is to act according to Shastra. And Shastra says, a thief, you can punish a thief all the way up to killing the thief also, no problem. You can punish a thief, you can hit a thief also, no problem. That is what Shastra allows. When the thief has entered your home, that thief knows that he is taking a life risk. That is how the thief has entered the home. They have come prepared with that life risk. And we are simply becoming agents. We may not literally kill somebody, but at least threaten them or at least punish them severely enough so that they will not commit that same activity again with somebody else. You leave them today, tomorrow they will harm somebody else because you did not do your karma when you had the chance. That will bring negativity into you. And therefore, it's very important. Parents discipline their child. If parents start thinking, I will not discipline my child because negative karma, another new negative karma will be created. So you cannot escape karma like this. The only way karma can be tackled is you do what is in the Shastra and offer that activity to Bhagavan. That is how new karma is not created. That is called akarma. So that is what it is.
Just one more thing. Sometimes we cannot decide when to do something. Let's say when a thief goes to steal, he also has a point. He thinks that, okay, I do not have food and I have my family. This is my dharma to feed them, but I don't have money, but I do not have food. So I'm going to get it from somewhere to feed my family. This is his logic. Sometimes we do something and we do not realize until later on when it's too late that what I did, it's not, I shouldn't do it.
All right. If the thief says this is my dharma, dharma cannot be decided by mutual understanding. What is dharma? It is very important to understand what is dharma. People think my duty is dharma. So the butcher who is killing an animal is also doing his dharma. The politician who is stealing millions of dollars is also doing dharma. ऐसा धर्म नहीं चलेगा. We should have one central authority for deciding what is dharma. And that is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. I will point out the verse, dear devotees, please pull out the verse. Six 6.1.40. Mataji, you pull out the verse and show the Harikishore Prabhu, you please show the translation. 6.1.40. Mataji, just please read the first sentence of the translation, only the first sentence.
The Yamadutas replied, that which is prescribed in the Vedas continues dharma,
Constitutes.
constitutes dharma, the religious principles, and the opposite of that is irreligious.
Dharma and adharma is not decided by mutual consent. Dharma is decided by Ved. So thief says this is my dharma. Sorry, that is not dharma. It is only dharma if it is prescribed in the Vedas. And Vedas say nobody should steal. Ishavasyam idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjitha. And last, Magrida kasya svidhanam. Don't steal anybody's wealth, says the Vedas. How can the thief say this is my dharma? Ye to modern India we have made up our own definition, na? Because we don't study Veda. So, stealing is not dharma. He is doing adharma by stealing. And therefore, he may be saying this is my dharma, but he doesn't understand what is dharma, what is not dharma. The second part of the question. If we did something we regret, we should not have done like this, later we regret. The Vedas still say there is prayaschitta. There is the opportunity for atonement. But why come to that point? Act according to the way the Vedas have specified. Learn from a guru how to act. We should not be self-taught. We should learn from every person in Bharatiya Sabhyata, in Indian culture, should learn from a guru how to act and how not to act. Every person, because nowadays we are thinking self-made we will become. We cannot become like that. Every tad viddhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. Everybody should approach a guru. And the guru will tell, this is dharma, this is not dharma. Satyam vada dharmam chara, speak the truth. Walk on the path of dharma. If we try to figure out by ourselves, it will be impossible. Sometimes parents become guru, sometimes we have an actual guru. That actual guru who knows the Veda is required. It very much required. Otherwise we cannot determine what is dharma and what is not dharma. And then even if we have made a mistake, the guru will tell prayaschita, if there is any atonement to be done. So that is what can be done. Alright? Sometimes we decide by ourselves. I did this sin, today I will go and take a bath in the Ganga. First see in the Shastra, what is the atonement for that sin? First see in the Shastra, what is the exact atonement for that sin? Because sin itna bada, atonement itna chota. I hope you are able to understand. Huh? Sin itna bada, atonement chota. Sin 10,000 times, atonement one time. I say it doesn't work like that. Huh? So we have to see if there is a Prayaschit Shastra. There is Shastra for Prayaschit, how to do particular atonement. If somebody has killed a particular innocent animal, there is Chandrayan Vrat. Chandrayan Vrat is one type of atonement. So those who are non-devotees, there are atonements. Those who are devotees also, there are separate atonements in Bhakti Yoga. But that is a separate topic, Mataji. Right? So Prayaschit is there, if we have committed some negative activity. Yes, Mataji. It should come naturally. External vairagya is very good if it comes as a byproduct of bhakti. If it comes as a natural byproduct of bhakti, it is very good. Forcible external vairagya without realization of bhakti has very little or no value. Yeah, so yeah. Shri Radha Shyam Sundar Jiv ki jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Shri Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Sudarshan Jiv ki jai. Yeah. So your question is, how do we know when we are forcing ourselves? We are forcing ourselves when we are not following the bhakti literature. Everything that is to be done should be done according to Shastra. Bhakti has a Shastra. If we are doing what is given in the Bhakti Shastra, we are not forcing ourselves for Vairagya. We are just practicing Bhakti. That will lead to Vairagya automatically. Natural detachment. You just try and find out by yourself. It's not. And then if outside of Bhakti Shastra we are looking for some Vairagya, what should I do in order to bring these qualities, then you are forcing yourself. You are practitioner of which yoga? Ashtanga Yoga or Jnana Yoga or Bhakti Yoga? Which yoga? Of course. ऐसा तो नहीं है ना कि पानी पूरी तो नहीं बनाना है ना ऐसा. It's not a supermarket from where we can pick one yoga. ऐसा नहीं है. Many yogas won't allow most of us even an entry. Many yogas won't allow an entry to us. Although nowadays many people try to fool us by saying you can be Ashtanga Yogi, you can be Jnana Yogi. I will give some definitions because a Jnana Yogi needs to be first and foremost a Vairagi. Vairagya comes first for them. Sri Adi Shankaracharya, he established 4 mutts in India, and they are teaching Gyan Yoga, Vedant. None of his disciples was a Grihastha. Even today, all the 4 Shankaracharyas, are they Grihastha or Sannyasi? Sannyasi. Grihasthas don't have an entry. So Mataji, for Grihasthas and ladies, there is no entry in Gyan Yoga. Unless you are super exceptional or something like that. In Ashtanga Yoga, you need to find a forest, solitary place. It cannot be done in front of a TV, no matter how much people try to tell us. Ashtanga Yoga has Yam and Niyam. Yam and Niyam cannot be practiced in a big home in a city. You need to first go to a forest and find a solitary place. Ashtanga Yoga is ruled out. Bhakti Yoga remains. So, I often say beggars are not choosers. I saw it. Okay, take it. There is a poem in Hindi by Shri Surdas ji. Hare ko Harinam. ऐसा ठीक है हारे को हरिनाम one who lost everything for them Harinam that is Harinam. Yes Prabhu.
You were just meditating on the words Vairagya Vijnana Bhakti Yoga. Is the person performing Bhakti Yoga, Vairagya automatically comes. The detachment automatically comes. So, this process for us to follow Bhakti Yoga.
Yeah.
In that way, detachment will come even from Bhakti and Mukti are doorkeepers of
Yeah.
the person performing Bhakti Yoga.
So Bhukti and Mukti are both?
Doorkeepers of a person performing Bhakti Yoga.
Yeah, they are both doorkeepers. Yeah. Actually, devotees, if we see in the life of devotees, most devotees are detached from most of the sense gratification in the world that people perform outside. You see people in the world outside, the maximum they love drinking, they love eating meat, and they love going to a club or something. They pay a lot of money for that. It's not cheap. It's very expensive to do all these enjoyment. Devotees just stay away. What is he doing at home? He's some fruit bana rahe hai, ekadashi pe, something. He's doing this very simple enjoyments they are having. So most of the Vairagya has been there just because of being a Bhakti yogi. But now complete Vairagya is not there because the Bhakti Yoga has not reached that state of power, it's to give that 100% effect. So that's what it is. Yesterday I was speaking to Akhilesh Krishna Prabhu, Tesla, how you charge 80%, But if you charge 100%, you can go all the way. You can utilize the car to the fullest potential. So with most of the Bhakti Yogis, we are charging our car to 80%, not to 100%. And that's how far we are able to go. But Vairagya is there, still in the devotees. At least 80% is aí. 80% to 80%. So Vairagya is there. 20% is ho jayega, dhire dhire. Aayega. But some powerful dose is required for that remaining 20%. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Before I get to my question, I just want to clarify one point from a previous question. So when you're saying Krishna, supposedly in that example, is inspiring a thief, basically we're saying he's sanctioning that thief to fulfill his desire to steal and orchestrating basically the entire scene.
Not only sanctioning, he is giving positive thoughts inside the heart. He is giving, कर लो चोरी करो चोरी हाँ कल से फिर अपना ही है पूरी दुनिया अपनी होगी है ना चोरी करो ठीक है
So Prabhuji, my question, like you mentioned, dharma is not something done on a mutual basis. It's there in Vedas, there in Shastra. So one is our Paro Dharma, which is Krishna consciousness. But in Kali Yuga, Krishna also talks about performing one's Swadharma. And even Swadharma is specific duties. That would possible then, that's not but a lot of our jobs are
not swadharma.
practical more because that's what makes the money.
Yeah.
So how do we understand this? How can we?
So if our profession is not based on our innate tendencies, we will experience fear, delusion, frustration in working wherever we are working. A person, let's say, has an innate natural tendency to do a business, but he's never given the opportunity, nor does he ever explore it. Even if a thought comes to it, he doesn't have the required financial backup. Throughout his life, he works a job. Obviously, he'll be frustrated. And therefore, Krishna says, paradharmo bhayavaha in Gita. To do somebody else's dharma brings fear and lamentation. That fear and lamentation will be there. And therefore, it says, prayan alpayusha sabhya kalavasmin yuge jana mandaha sumandamatayo mandabhagya yupadruta. People of Kali Yuga are disturbed because the swadharma is not there. Even in Kali Yuga, 2-3 generations ago, 10 generations ago, ever since this career came, you have to make a career. People are becoming more and more, what will my career be? They don't look upon career with excitement, they look upon career with fear. 10 generations ago, career was fixed. I hope you are able to understand. Vedic society, at least it... Battery? I think the mic is indicating that you should stop. Hare Krishna. Vedic society takes care of your career, isn't it? Vedic society takes care of your career. An ironsmith's son, if he has the same tendency, can become an ironsmith. And there is no shame in that. That is career. It's a big career. A goldsmith's son becomes a goldsmith. In India today, the Gujarati community is considered to be one of the wealthiest communities. How do you think they became wealthy? By making a new career or by following a family career? Please tell me. Family career, no? That's what Vedic civilization does. Now, if you take a Gujarati person and you tell them you can't do business, most of them do business. You can't do business. You have to work under somebody. उसके तो lamentation fear हो जाएगा. I hope you are able. Paradharmo bhayava. That's what Krishna says in Gita. So, Vedic society ensured this for millennium, that you have a career set when you are born. What more do you need? But people just want to explore free world. Everyone can have their own career. Yes. And when you want to have a career from scratch, you have to plant a new seed. And when you plant a new seed, it takes a lot of effort and time for that seed to mature. And then let's say by great effort you became a doctor, physician, and you get married to another doctor, physician, and you have a doctor family. And next generation also you're expecting they should become a doctor. I hope you're able to understand. So, but next generation doesn't become a doctor. They say, I want to do something else. Oh my goodness. Another effort, planting a new seed and learning something new. So that is what paradharma does. Paradharmo bhayavaha. Doing somebody else's duty creates fear in you and lamentation. So that is going to happen in Kali Yuga with many people because they are not following what Shastra is saying. Career is set. For 83,99,999 species, there is no headache of a career. Can you imagine? There is a verse in Hari Bhakti Vilas. Seva shvavritti yairukta na tai samyag udahartam swachhandachari kutrashva vikrita sukva sevaka. Some people say that to work as a servant of somebody under paid job is the life of a dog. Some people say, the verse is saying like this. But the verse is, these people are not speaking the truth. How can you compare a free roaming dog with a person who has sold his life heirs. I hope your Shastra is very critical about this. Very critical. Take an occupation according to your Swadharma. In that modern fantasy of free world, I can do whatever I want, you may end up doing something which may cause a lot of fear to you. So it's very important for a guru to identify this is his nature, this is how he should work. That is why Jyotish comes into play. Jyotish tells you your nature, that this is how you are disposed, this is your mindset, these are good fields of choice. So this is how it should be for you. So that is how, when you work in that, there is no fear, absolutely no fear, absolutely no fear. I'll tell you, I don't quote from my personal life, but I'll quote something personal life. I didn't know all of these things because nobody had, I was told Swadharma and about how to check Swadharma. And so after my college, 1 year I worked in technology and I was very unhappy, like it's not matching. So the first job was with Google Australia. And my goodness, people used to say, wow, Google. I said, yeah, wow, what wow? I'm suffering here. What wow? I'm suffering here. I don't have a social life or nothing. So for everybody it was wow. For me it was suffering. And I didn't want to keep that suffering at the expense of social praise. So I went to a Jyotish and they said, according to your nature, you should either be a lawyer or a teacher. That is your nature. It's all right. Switch career, teaching. I'm teaching since that year till now. I hope so. No fear. Swadharma. Right? Swadharma. Follow Veda. Follow Shastra. You'll be happy. That is very important. Follow your Swadharma. And there is no fear at all. But identify Swadharma through Jyotish, through a guru, through family lineage. These are methods for identifying Swadharma. And then there is no fear. Otherwise there is immense amount of fear for that. I can say many more things about that, but I think these are sufficient things to deliberate upon. Swadharma is very important. Oh, Harikul.
Good to see you. I think we all clapped when you said that you decided to become a teacher because we're all reaping the benefits of it. So good to see you. Thank you so much for this class. With this message that we can only overcome these negative qualities like lust with true love. I think it's such a beautiful lesson. I want to understand what is the relationship between material love and spiritual love. I want to understand this because you mentioned this bhakti. Only through bhakti can you get renunciation, not the other way around. But in my experience of spiritual literature, we see so many metaphors, like the love for infant from their mother is compared to true love and bhakti, or these Buddhists meditate, I want my mind to be attracted to Krishna just like a young girl is attracted to a young boy. And even in my own experience, I'm seeing that, I'll give the example of my mom. I think that my mom has a very maternal relationship with Krishna, and I wonder if some of that, maybe I'm giving myself too much credit, but I wonder if some of that comes from her relationship with me, her becoming a mother to me. And so I want to understand, does our material relationships deepen our understanding of bhakti, either through maybe friendship or maternal or paternal or any types of love, or is it only bhakti leads to renunciation?
All right. So I'm very thankful for this wonderful query. Does experience of material relationships nourish one's bhakti? That is the crux of the query. Bhagavan naturally places us into certain material relationships according to previous karma. So we have already been given those specific relationships and experiences based on previous karma. You can use that as a platform for jump starting into bhakti. It is not required to separately cultivate new material desires by thinking that this will help me in bhakti. I hope you are able to understand. New experiences will come on their own accord because of the relationships that Bhagavan, destiny has already made for us. In due course of life, we will go through ashram, householder life and children, etc. Every householder, or let's say a person who stays a brahmachari also, they experience different relationships. A brahmachari may experience friendship with other brahmacharis, or a householder may experience love, romance with their spouse. So these material relationships that are experienced naturally as life chalks out its course can be used as a platform for relating to Bhagavan. Because Sri Rupa Goswami, you quoted Yuvati Nam Yatha Yuni, Yunam Cha Yuvatau Yatha. Just as the mind of a young boy is attached to a young girl and the mind of a young girl is attached to a young boy, let my mind be attached to you. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Vishaye je priti ebe achaye amar, sei mata priti hauk charane tomar. Whatever attachment I have to sense objects, let me have that same attachment to you. So as long as we are not purposely trying to cultivate a new attachment for the sake of later dovetailing it to Krishna, as long as we are happy with the attachments which are normally coming in our life, due course of life, and we are just using them as a launch pad into bhakti, till that time it is okay. Right? But what is not okay is to think that now I need more attachment, material attachment, in order to become attached to Krishna. So, Prahlad Maharaj says that in the Bhagavatam also it is said, Sarvatra labhyate. Tasyaiva hetoho prayate kovido na labhyate yad brahmatam uparyadaha tal labhyate sukhavan anyataha dukham kalena sarvatra gabhira ramhasa. 1.5.18 Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.18. Do you have that in front of you? 1.5.18 Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.18. Yeah, in that translation, please read only from the second sentence, as far as happiness. Please read that on the mic.
As far as happiness derived from sense enjoyment is concerned, it can be obtained automatically in the course of time, just as in the course of time we obtain miseries even though we do not desire them.
Yeah, so just as miseries come without praying for them, happiness also comes without praying for it. That is what the Bhagavatam says. So when any material happiness comes, it can be used as a launch pad for one's Krishna bhakti, and that's all right. All right? As long as it is some happiness, material happiness, which has come from our predestined, predestined karma, not something we are cultivating new. That's all. Okay? I hope that answers your query. Thank you. Mataji, you want to say something? Okay.
Question is, it bothered me. That a lot of times we see, like after the Second World War, Japan got bombed, nuclear bomb, and I'm still not able to reconcile how that could happen to a mass of people. What did they do wrong that they got bombed so much and got destroyed?
What did they do wrong that they got?
Totally destroyed. The whole cities got destroyed, mass population got destroyed, and it's like for years and years they couldn't come out. The Hiroshima and Nagasaki, for instance, right? It was nuclear bomb that got bombed.
Yeah. When we think of suffering in human terms. A few months ago, just I was on the computer, I saw there were suddenly in the recommendations of the video, there a video came up, and you can look this up even today. It was a video on YouTube which was saying aluminium casting of an ant hill. I don't know if you understood what I meant. Aluminium casting of an ant hill. So they find ant hills where there are millions of ants living, and they pour molten aluminium into it so that it fills every corner of the ant hill, and then they can find out exactly what paths the ants have made inside the ant hill. But this comes at the expense of killing millions of living entities. Millions of living entities are killed, and the suffering which they experience cannot be trivialized, because it is said that a living entity experiences great suffering when the soul is pulled out of the body. So events like these are happening on a microorganic scale every day. Every day they are happening on a microcosmic scale. They are happening every single day. When it happens to humans, oh my goodness, how could it happen? When it happens to humans, especially even in humans, I am telling you, there are gradations. If a person is killed in a third world country, it may not be international news. But if a person is killed in a first world country, it may become international news. Oh, how could it happen? Isn't it? So it is very selective bias. How could it happen? It is happening even today, every day. Even today it is happening every day, that in the animal kingdom, in the insect kingdom, there are so many calamities which are threatening millions of lives. So how could it happen? This question is born from not understanding how the world works. The world works in such a way sometimes that millions of people are brought together to one place, and millions of them have to die in a single setting. Jai Shri Radha Shyam Sundar Ji Jai. When the Mahabharata war took place, Prabhupada says 64 million were there. All of them knew that most of them will be killed. That's how they had come. Still they came, driven helplessly by circumstances. So, circumstances bring a person to a place where they have to receive the results of some past activity. That is how the world works. How could it happen? It happened because we have had infinite past lives in which there is a lot of stockpile karma which is remaining, and gradually we are receiving the results. The only way to burn away all the karma is to perform one of the systems of yoga: Ashtanga Yoga, Jnana Yoga, or Bhakti Yoga. Select your system and see if it allows you entry, and follow that path to burn away all the karma. All the karma can be burnt away by execution of Bhakti Yoga. There is a very nice verse in the 11th canto. I will end with this verse. All right? 11, 14, 19. 11, 14, 19. यथाग्निः सुसमृद्धार्चिः करोत्येधांसि भस्मसात् तथा मद्विषया भक्तिर उद्धवैनांसि कृत्स्नशः. 11, 14, 19. Hari Kishore Prabhu, you have loud enough voice. Can you read the translation loudly?
My dear Uddhava, just as a blazing fire turns firewood into ashes, similarly, devotion unto me completely burns to ashes sins committed by my devotees.
Yes, this is devotional service destroying karma, the proof of bhakti destroying karma. Only by bhakti is karma destroyed. Karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhajam. That is bhakti yoga. Otherwise, life is going on as usual. That is what it is. All right. Right.